on Friday at 10 a.m. So we are now recording. And so I just want to say, I think that during those introductions, we really heard from a lot of folks in the community that are using the center, couple that we need to get out some more. This is one of those examples of public-private partnerships that are just incredible for community, right? That is kind of the example of how we should be doing new parks, new infrastructure in areas like Winrock. And so really excited to have Darin Sand here to talk us through what's happening now, but also the future of the Winrock Town Center. So I'm going to turn it over to Darin. If everyone could please go on mute, and we will do Q&A at the end. Thanks for being here, Darin.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councilor. It's always a joy for me to share about Winrock. I am going to share my screen with you. I have a slide presentation. Let's see. So do you see that now? Okay, thank you. So good morning. And as I said, I'm always excited to share about Winrock. We have a lot going on. I'm going to share about what's happening in the near future and the 5 years in the future as well, and then talk about some of the events that a number of you have mentioned that you've attended, or if you haven't, we look forward to seeing you soon. So I've been with Winrock since 2007, and that's when Goodman Realty purchased Winrock Town Center, and we had the vision to create a town center. And that's what we're seeing actually come to life here. Really over the last year when the community park opened, and this year has been a full year that the park has been open, and it's been super exciting to see all the individuals participate, the families, the couples, individuals, and we love to hear the stories. It was great for me to hear what some of you shared today. So it's been a long time in the making, and we're glad that finally here. So let's see, I'm trying to change my screen. Give me a second here. Okay, I have enough. Oh, here we go. All right, can you all see that up there? Okay, great. Well, my cursor is not working up on the screen. I'm not sure why that is, but I will talk you through what we're looking at and try to point your eyes in the right direction. I'm not sure why my cursor is not working, but I wanted to start off with the site plan of Winrock. And this is the entire property of Winrock. It's 84 acres, and you can see a lot of labels there of tenants that maybe some of you have visited. I want to first start by looking at the park. That's where the events happen. That's in the center. And obviously you see the water feature there. There are some new things happening at the park. And if you've been out there, you've seen a little building in the middle of the park off the water. That is a bar, and that will be open here pretty soon. So it'll be a new place for individuals to visit. And we look forward to that creating more energy there in the park. You know, I wish I could use my cursor here because I wanted to point out, do you see where it says Stretch Lab? And then right on the corner, like the northwest corner of the label Stretch Lab, there is it's actually a vacant piece of land right now. And soon we will be building a restaurant right there in the park. And I'm going to show you a picture of that here pretty soon as we go through some more of these slides. So that's coming soon. I think somebody mentioned on the phone or on the Zoom that there are new things every time you come to the park. And so those are a couple of new things we'll be able to see in the near future. And then if you look up to the women's dillards, you can see two kind of rectangles just to the bottom of the women's dillards. That represents a building that we're going to build there. We call it the Liner Shops, and I will show you a rendition of that. That will be a 3-story building. It will have restaurants and retail on the bottom and offices above. Then if you look to the left, there's a label that says the Portland Building. And where that label is, you see some outlined little bit of a rectangle there. That is going to be another hotel on the site. We look for it to be a Hilton hotel, and there'll be some condominiums associated with that. That's going to be a few years out in the future, but we're already working on that. So we look forward to having another hotel on the site. Then if you look over to back to where it says Stretch Lab, in that parking lot there, we have planned a apartment complex, but there will be retail on the bottom and then 4 stories of apartments above that. There'll be parking underneath it, and then there'll be a parking deck associated with it. So there'll be more parking that will be built with that project there. But some more living arrangements here on Winrock is planned in the future. And then if you look down from where, actually between Presbyterian and Stretch Lab, you see a rectangle that's just, let's say, to the left of Regal. We plan more medical there, wellness and medical, to help serve the community. We've been really focusing on the wellness and the medical aspect at Winrock. I heard somebody on the phone talk about being at the Presbyterian Health Plan place, and I know that's been very successful and meeting a lot of needs. And so we're looking to add more medical, and that will be a building in the near future that will service that. Now, if we take our eyes and look all the way to the left, can you see where Chicken Salad Chick is? It's below Fidelity, the little label there. And it has a little indication of a rectangular building. And that building is under construction today. Chicken Salad Chicken is the first tenant that will be there. They're taking half of the building. They hope to be opening in just a couple months. Chicken Salad Chicken is open on the west side of town, and this is going to be their first restaurant on this side of town. They're from the southern part of the United States, a very successful and fast-growing franchise. And actually, if you've been out to the park, some of the events, they've been there with samples for people, and it's fantastic food. So that's coming soon. Look forward to having them here. Let me look at my notes and see what else I want to talk to you guys about on this site plan. You may be wondering, yeah, I'm just reminded, if you look at the Christmas tree lot, that's what we call it affectionately. It's just to the right of Choose Fitness. We do have apartments planned for there. They're on hold right now, but that's the ultimate plan. There's a couple hundred apartment units up there on that part of the site. And then I just remembered, if you look back to the left side, you see where BJ's is. And then right above BJ's, there's, and to the right, you see a parking area. We're putting in a new entrance right there. So the entrance will come straight off of Louisiana. You see there's the ring road, or actually the loop road. And if you can just envision a road coming in just up top of BJ's, just across and go in front of the Men's Dillard's, and then tie in with the top of the park. That would be a new entrance that is under design right now. And what that does is it frees up the area where Genghis Grill is. So you currently see that there looks like a road right where the label Genghis Grill is. That road will go away, and it'll allow us to build another restaurant there and some other retail in that location. So there's a lot to look forward to in the future. And that's really something that we have planned in the next 18 months, where the Genghis Grill is and that new road. So that's an overview, but now let's look at some pictures to help us associate what I was just looking at and speaking about. And so here's the very early rendition of the liner shops. So I'm going to go back up to where the site plan was so you can remind yourselves, look at the Women's Dillard's. And then just look below Women's Dillard's. You see those two. One's more of a rectangle, one's a rectangle with a little L on it. That's what this building is. And you'll still have an entrance to Dillard's. Right now, that entrance to Dillard's is closed. But picture on the bottom there, vibrant restaurants and retail. And then above that, offices. We're also working on co-working offices, which are offices that you can rent or rent a desk. So if you're looking for a virtual office or a temporary office, you'll be able to be in this building. There'll be food right below you, the park right out in front of you. It'll be a wonderful place to work and to shop and eat. So we call that the liner building because it actually lines that south facade of the Women's Dillard's. And then let's look at now the park restaurant. So look at this. Now I'm going to go back up and just remind you, you see where Stretch Lab, the label Stretch Lab, in the corner of that label goes into kind of a grayish piece of land. So that's where this restaurant is, in the park. Going back to the restaurant now. So it's kind of an organic looking restaurant, a lot of windows, a rooftop deck with plants around that. And so we're pretty excited about this restaurant. We think it's going to help finish out the park. And now you see behind it, you might be wondering what's behind it and then what's to the right of it. Well, behind it is an earlier rendering of the liner shops. So it's not going to look like that, but it helps you see kind of the massing, if you will, of what's going to be around the Winrock Park. So that 3-story building right behind it on the other side of the pond up against Dillard's. And then on the right side, those represent the apartments that I talked about that are between, and I'll go back up to this plan here. The apartments, it's right where the label Stretch Lab is. So that can help you visualize what's coming and a lot of activity and places to live and shop and eat in the future. I always like looking at these pictures. It really helps me visualize what's happening. So now I'm moving to what we call the Portland building. This building is actually where I'm speaking to you from. It's a new office building. It's a 3-story building, as you can see. We call it the Portland building because we think, and we designed it a little bit after a Northwestern building, kind of the brown wood color and the block that you see. So that's why we call it the Portland building, reminiscent of Portland, Oregon. But that's the new office building. We take the entire 2nd floor. So Goodman Realty is on the entire 2nd floor. If you want to come see me, just come upstairs next time you're at Winrock and ask for me. That's where I am. And then on the top floor, we do have some new tenants that are coming in. So a lot more activity. Looking forward to that here at Winrock. And then on the bottom floor, we're looking for retail. Maybe a little coffee shop, maybe a clothing shop, but that's what we're looking for on that bottom floor there. You can kind of see just on the right, there's a ramp that goes down into our parking garage. So that's the new office building. And now this represents Chicken Salad Chick. So you might remember where it is on the plan, but I'm going to go back up to the plan here. And just where Fidelity is on the left side, right below Fidelity, that's where Chicken Salad Chick is, right as you come in off of Louisiana. So let's look at that rendering again. So that building is actually up today, but I thought the rendering did a good job of giving you an idea. They'll have a great patio off to the west. Chicken Salad Chick will be on the western part of this building. And to help you visualize it too, it's just in front of PetSmart. So another great place to eat and to spend time here in our community. So that's, did I tell you when they're going to open? They should be open in about 2 to 3 months. They're working very quickly. And then just this week, Ethan Allen opened. Ethan Allen used to be on Tramway and Montgomery. They moved down here to Winrock. So they opened, I think it was 2 days ago. And on this picture to the left is DSW. So if you can picture that, this faces the interstate. So now we have tenants along the entire front side facing Interstate 40. So Ethan Allen just opened. If you're around, it's a beautiful store. Please visit that. So this is something very exciting to talk about. This is Regal Theater. As you know, Regal is been here for quite a few years. They've spent millions of dollars recently to upgrade the entire theater, and they installed what they call a 4DX theater. And think about it like 3D. Maybe you've been to a 3D movie. Well, this is 4D. And I'm going to play a video for you. But before we do that, just look at the picture, and you can see kind of on the upper left side, it looks like there's fans up there. There's a bunch of equipment up there. So there's fans, they blow. There's fog and snow that comes down. You can kind of see up on top of the seats, looks like water and some mist. And so this is a 4-dimensional experience to be in this theater as you're watching the movie. The seats move. If there's water that gets splashed, you actually will get splashed with water. If there's bullets that are getting shot, you're going to feel air come right by your head. So it's a full experience. So let's see if actually, I don't know if I can play this video because I can't get my cursor up there.
Very strange. And we got on early and tested it, and it worked just fine.
Yes. So wait, let me see. Here we go. Can you see it now?
Yay. Yes.
All right. I'm going to play the video. So can you see that? So the seats are moving. This is actually, I'm going to play it one more time because there's a lot going on there. But you can see the fans up there. And this is a demo that they had. There was a car chase on the screen, but I thought it was more impactful to see. So look at that, getting sprayed with water and mist, and the seats are moving. So a lot going on, but a wonderful experience if you like that kind of stuff. If you get motion sickness, it might not be the thing for you. But to give you an idea how special this is to have at Winrock, there are only 57 of these RDX theaters in the country. And so we have one here in Albuquerque at Winrock. So very happy to have that. And if you do want to be part of that, you'll have to reserve your seats way in advance because this has been sold out every time. But if you just want to see another movie, they've upgraded all their seats to recliners as well. So and please enjoy that. Now I want to talk about the park a little bit. Here's some great pictures of the park. This is actually last year. So the trees are a little taller now. There is a gazebo now in the park. So I'm not going to tell you where it is. Come out here and look for the gazebo. That'll be something fun to look for. But as we heard, there's always something new. We have new bird feeders, and the bird feeders have cameras on them. So eventually we'll show you how to, if you're interested, to look at the live feeds of the bird feeders and what kind of birds are landing on them. The pond you can see is right here. There's a lot more fish and turtles in the pond. And all those trees were planted strategically. So as they grow, it's going to provide a lot of great shade. On the left side, you see some of the artwork and our bridge there. If we still look at this picture, let me just point out, if you look at where the Dillards is, I have a cursor now. So look at the Dillards. So this is where the hotel and condominiums will be that we talked about. This over here is where the liners will be, the liner shop. Remember the 3-story building? And then over here is where that restaurant will be. So I'm going to go to the next screen and talk about the pond a little bit. Now there is an island here in the middle of this top pond, and there's a lot more fish. There's a big catfish that we put in here last week, so see if you can come out and find that. But it's been great to look at the pond, look at all the wildlife in there. And then on this side, obviously we have our dancing fountains. I did want to point out this little building here. And a lot of people ask, what is this? And there's still more work to be done, but this is our educational kiosk. It's a community kiosk. There'll be monitors in there and displays to educate the community about different aspects of Winrock and what we have happening in the city with parks and recreation, with the Bosque, and different events and nonprofits. And that is coming soon in this little kiosk here. For example, all this water that you see here is a partnership with the Water Authority where we are bringing reclaimed water up to Winrock. We're currently installing a 2.5 mile pipe from Gibson all the way down by the base to bring reclaimed water. And in the next few months, this will be totally second generation water. And in this kiosk, we will educate the community about water conservation and the different benefits of that, especially here in the Southwest where it doesn't rain a whole lot. So I wanted to point that out. Plus with the pond, we do have some educational programs that are happening with the kids. And I'll show you some pictures of that. But first, let's look at the concert. Neil is on the line. Neil has been a wonderful partner with us and helping us plan these shows. And so maybe some of you have been to actually this one. There is another one tonight happening, but they've been very, very successful, 800 to 1,000 people at times, very safe environment, family friendly, food trucks. We have markets associated with it, and it's just been wonderful, especially in these summer evenings. So we look forward to seeing you again. We have one tonight. And so please come out tonight. We have a country band, I believe it is. And so here's another picture right here of all the people and just how much fun and energy. I do have a video. I can't show it to you now. It's of one night where there was a band playing. There's a song that everybody loved. And the entire crowd is just dancing and laughing and just, it just is fantastic to see the energy. This has really become a central location for Albuquerque. Here we have our Winrock markets. On Wednesdays, we do a Wellness Wednesday. We've kicked off the farmers market. It is small right now, but it is powerful. There are people steadily coming and buying produce for that week or for that night to eat and different other amenities and so forth. And so that's our farmers market on Wednesday. Presbyterian is out here a lot of times doing health screenings. And we also have food trucks out here. Saturdays, we have an artisans market, which will have one tonight and tomorrow morning as well. And along with these, we do have free yoga in the park and different exercises. And then we started a program about a month and a half ago called Friends of the Park. And Tammy mentioned that this is a public-private partnership, and we are reaching out and have reached out to the community and the neighbors to get involved with the park to help keep it wonderful and clean and friendly and volunteer. And so on the left side of the screen, I have a brochure that we've presented to the neighborhood. We did a kind of interest meeting about a month and a half or 2 months ago, had about 15 neighbors who wanted to participate, and you can see where it says areas you can help. And so here on the right side, you see 3 individuals, some of the neighbors that are involved in landscaping. We have bird care, pond care, special events, and the education center. So we're continuing to grow that. This also comes with some perks and discounts at Winrock, definitely making an impact in the community, and apparel. We give you a shirt and some other things, ball caps and so forth. So if you're interested, let me know. And then the Park Explorers. This is our kids program, which is Tuesday mornings and Saturday. It's in partnership with Bosque School. These are just some photos of the kids learning about the flora and the fauna in the pond. You can actually see some of the ducks right here, but they do science experiments, and they're learning about different aspects here in our community. It's been very successful. Last number of weeks, we've had 30+ kids out here participating. So if you know people that have children, they want to be part of it, Tuesday mornings and then on Saturdays as well. And now a little bit about what's coming in the future in terms of events at Winrock. We're looking to do movies in the park. And so that'll be in the amphitheater. I do not have a date when that's going to start, but please look into the info at Winrock on our website or on our Facebook or Instagram. We'll be promoting that. Concerts, continued concerts, it's been very successful. We want to keep that going. A harvest festival in the fall, and then our Winrock Wonderland, which there's a picture. These are pictures actually of the Winrock Wonderland, which last year was our winter kind of pre-Christmas event, and it was successful beyond our expectations, and we look to even make it bigger this year. And so we look forward to that. So those are some of the happenings going on at Winrock and some of the future development. And I love talking about it, very excited and thankful to have this privilege to share with you. And I look forward to answering any of your questions.
Thank you, Darin. Okay, lots of folks joined after we started. So if you want to ask any questions, please use the raise hand function under the React, or just wave your hand and I will try to find you on the screen. So any questions? All right, I see James went first, and there's lots. So let's go to James Shanley first.
Okay, thank you. That's very impressive, what you're doing there. I'm wondering, and I may have missed something in the preamble, 'cause it took me a while to get on, but there's still a vast amount of surface dedicated to parking. But you also have now the underground parking. I'm wondering if your longer term vision provides for a transition to significantly less surface parking lot.
That's a great question. I'm going to go back up to our site plan here. Yeah, you talked about all this parking here. We do hope to build some buildings on some of that parking. However, many of these tenants require a lot of parking and have negotiated in their leases with us that certain amount of spaces in front of their stores needs to be available. And so that's what you see here. And it's something we inherited when we bought this site. But having said that, we are densifying as much as we can and looking to build structures, as you noted, so that we can consolidate the parking.
Thank you.
Matt?
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Darin, for the overview, and I apologize. I came in a few minutes late. I just had a similar question to James with let's see, it's the northeast corner. Looks like the green area there. Is that still scoped for the apartment building, the multi-unit apartment building that was intended there? I'm just curious. I'm part of the Albuquerque Park Neighborhood Association just to the north, and I'm just trying to update folks on the timeline for that and whatnot. I know there was a meeting earlier this week in terms of some site planning through the city for some other developments within Winrock, and I was just curious about the apartment building timeline.
Sure. The apartments are still in the plans. They have been put on hold primarily because construction costs are so high. But we have the building designed, and it's currently a 207 unit, 4-story complex that will be right in this location.
Great, thank you.
Darin, since you have the cursor working, can you show where the other apartment building will go as well, just for folks that kind of signed on late?
Yes, there is another apartment complex that we plan right here on this parking. It will be over the parking, so there'll still be parking underneath it, but there'll be a building right here for apartments.
Thank you. Alex. Alex, you're on mute.
My apologies again for being late. You have 2 Zoom links in your email, and I went to the other one first. So,
I didn't.
I
Sorry about that, Alex. Let me just say we have been on the same Zoom link for a really long time, and we had to switch over, and it sounds like we might have had one error. So I'm glad you found us. And we did record everything, so everything that anybody missed, you can go back to find. So go ahead, Alex.
I also want to work out the last 2 questions. If you need help changing Dillard's minds on the parking, we would be happy to argue on your behalf to get rid of it. Just let us know. And also, I want to applaud you for having putting up housing. Very important, and I think it will help bring this community alive. So thank you very much for that.
Thank
I
you.
don't have any
Ron.
questions.
Thank you very much. You
Han?
may be getting a call from us.
Uh,
Go ahead, Han.
All right, thank you. Hi, Darin. Thank you so much for your presentation. My name's Hong. I'm a local architect as well as a sustainability subject matter expert here in town. I think just really wonderful presentation, and thank you so much for the work that you're performing to bring density to the site and putting housing and all of a real magnet in the city. I think kind of the major theme that we keep getting is a town within a city, right? And I think we're doing a really excellent job of cultivating that in this property. Really well done. With that said, I think there's an acknowledgement of it's within a city, right? And that there's a need in that connectivity. And so I'm a little curious about right now, as we can tell, there is a substantial amount of parking. But I also want to note that there is a lot of connectivity to the site of being connected to a local bicycle trail, paved multi-use trail, as well as the BRT across the street on Louisiana. And I'm just a little curious about if there's any plans in addition to vehicle entrances, but pedestrian entrances, protected pedestrian entrances of larger pathways for bicycle facilities, bicycle pathways, storage for micro mobility, scooters, bicycles, skateboards, so on and so forth.
Sure. Thank you, Hong. Thank you for your kudos, and thanks for that question as well. In terms of the bike path, we are working on doing the sharrows in the site. And so let's see again, let me get my, so a sharrow, for those of you who don't know, are the arrows on the road that are for bikes and let the vehicles know that bikes can ride down the middle of the roads. And so that's what we will have. In terms of pedestrian connectivity, we're working in the site in around, kind of the core here, so that individuals can get around. To help facilitate that, we have installed and in our near future to put in a trolley system. So a free trolley. And you can see this line right here down the main road. That's the trolley path down the main road. Don't hold me to this actual path, but this is, path in terms of circuit. This is a trolley path. Let me make sure I'm clear here. This is a trolley path, but the circuit, I anticipate one of the circuits coming around the site will have a new road here. And then there's this big path right above the park, which is our trolley path as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so there will be that. So you could park someplace here on the site. And then if you want to walk to the movies, or let's say you're at the hotel up here and you want to come into here, the trolley at times will come up here, pick up people and bring it down. So it'll lessen the vehicular pollution and traffic on the site.
That's great.
You asked about scooters. We've recently seen an influx of scooters on the site. So we really haven't figured out a solution for that, because sometimes they're just left at different locations.
Mm-hmm.
But our property management group is looking in that to make sure it's safe and also organized.
Sure, absolutely, Darren. Yeah, I'll offer myself as a resource for any references out there. There's lots of certification systems that address micromobility and transportation. But yes, I would certainly encourage connectivity to the local neighborhood, since I think it would be a desire for some of the neighbors in this area to be able to walk to the site, opposed to even driving and parking, of further enhancing the walkability of what's already there.
Hong, you just reminded me, and Tammy, if I could take an extra minute, so you mentioned the bike path, which is here, and the communities, a lot of the communities are up here. And of course, there's a bridge that goes over Interstate 40 here. We are planning and designing right now an exercise walking path that will start up in this corner, come down behind, you can see part of the path here behind the hotel. You know, it's the path that has, you can walk and run, but then exercise equipment every so often. And some exercise equipment in this little section here ties in with the bike path here. And then you can go over and the interstate, and there's a walking path around Jerry Klein. And so it'll tie in with that. There'll be little markers each way because we're partnering with Presbyterian and New Mexico Orthopedics in terms of if you have physical therapy or you want to exercise, here's a quarter mile, here's half a mile. And there's also a plan for a dog park right down here. It's a little piece of remnant Department of Transportation land. You can see this, can you guys see this little bridge right here that goes over the arroyo right to that land? So that's a dog park. So looking to have more community amenities and connect it that way, which you can certainly walk to or bike to, or I guess scooter to as well.
That's great. Thank you, Darren. Appreciate it.
And I just want to say, Darin, you know, we work with the scooter companies, and we just added a lot of pins for scooter locations throughout District 7. If you're interested in having kind of a place where they are locally, you know, they're centrally located in the Winrock area, I'm happy to connect you with those folks. It would be a nice service to have. And then if there's a designated location, then that's where they are taken back to by staff. So, all right, let's go to, I thought I saw Cheryl's hand up, so I just want to make sure. Cheryl, did your question get answered?
No. So I've driven the Loop Road and I'm pretty familiar with it, but I get a little mixed up on the internal roads. They just kind of seem a little bit more confusing. So I'm wondering if there's a plan for better signage internally. So sometimes I just can't figure out exactly which way to go to different shops. So is there plans for more signage?
There is. Thank you, Cheryl, for that. There absolutely is a plan for that. And we do have, and actually we were talking about it yesterday, our wayfinding system. Right now we have more of a temporary wayfinding system here, but as the site continues to get more, if you will, locked in, the wayfinding is right on the next, if you will, phase for the site. Let me just talk a little bit about what you noted, some of the confusion driving through the site. This used to be all open parking right in here, and we recently installed this road here, which really defines another access point, and that will be enhanced when we install. And now I can point out where this new road is. There'll be a new road coming in this way down through here. So this will really define as well a clear process and place to drive, just like this one where you have these nice defined curbs. And then this road goes away right here. And so there'll be, this road here will also be further defined. So it'll continue to, if you will, like I said, lock in the site, and then associated with that will be clear directional signage, which we call wayfinding.
Okay, thank you.
Question, Cheryl. That was my question the other day too. Alex.
I wanted to again go off Hans stuff. Paint is not protection. Cheryl's aren't really good. You're doing all this construction on roads, you should make it safer for pedestrians and cyclists. You can have protected lanes or just a raised multi-use path on each side of your roads, and do a much better job of getting people into the center of your complex by doing such things. So I would appreciate it if you would consider doing that.
Thank you, Alex. I want to thank you for that. Yeah, you may have noticed that our speed limit throughout the site, we have posted at 14 miles an hour. So, and we have, so the vehicles should be driving pretty slow.
Should be.
Yeah, no, should is the word, right? We do also have our security that is abundant on the site, and that help to work on that. But I appreciate your comments.
Michelle.
Thanks. I didn't hear you mention, I know one spot where the underground parking has charging stations for electric vehicles. Are you planning infrastructure for that in the other underground parking? And I was also wondering, there's a green space next to PetSmart there. Is something going in there? Yeah, that spot. Thank you.
Yeah, so in terms of the EV charging, as you mentioned, there are 8 chargers underneath this right here in the parking structure. There's another 2 chargers right here. And there are a number of chargers associated with the hotel. We are talking to a company now to install a number of other chargers on the site, but that hasn't been solidified. But yes, that is in our plans. And then to talk about this piece of land here, we do have plans to put another building right here. This one is a little more complicated, so it's further out on the horizon. The reason it's complicated is half of this building will be on top of the parking structure. And so it's a more expensive building, but that is in the plans, a 3 to 5 story building there.
Hey, any other questions? I'm not seeing any other hands, but if
We
I
have
miss
one question in the chat.
oh,
Keith asks, what will the existing building with the deck that overhangs the pond be?
So that's this little building here. And actually, I think I have a picture of that. This one right here, that will be a specialty bar. And we just leased that space. So we're hoping in 2 to 3 months that'll be open.
I am very much looking forward to that.
So are we.
It's the perfect place to sit and watch whatever music is happening. So I'm very excited about that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Darin, do you want to just really quickly talk through the TID and kind of the public infrastructure versus the Winrock developments on here, just so folks have an understanding of that?
Yes, happy to. Maybe it's better if I go back to the site plan. So the TID, which is an acronym, it stands for Tax Increment Development District, has allowed Winrock to issue public bonds to help finance infrastructure on the site that allows us to create what we're all talking about here. And that infrastructure is primarily dedicated to roads and the park. And so I'll just point out what that money has paid for. This road right here. And so it's essentially a public road. This road down here, the park as well. So this is all part of the public-private partnership. And this road here, and all the utilities and infrastructure underneath those roads. And then the final one is this new road coming in this way. And that's what the TID does allow us to do. And so I was thankful that the counselor mentioned that this is a great example of a successful public-private partnership that really is benefiting the community. And it's been our desire since 2007, since we did establish this TID, that this really became an example for this. And it's so refreshing and satisfying to hear and to see it. Again, imagine we've been working on this for 18 years, and now we've been talking about it, benefiting the community, and it truly seems to be so. That's what the TID has allowed us to do.
Thank you. Okay, last call for any questions or comments. You can just come off mute if you're having trouble finding the raise hand button. Not seeing any further. So I will say there is an event tonight that starts at 6:30. If you haven't been out, come join us. There's also tomorrow morning another artisan market. Those are really, really fun. And so, come out, take a look, enjoy it, see what, this new city park that is owned and operated, or that is operated by Winrock looks like, and take a look online at their calendar. They have events happening all the time. And so I'm really excited about it. I think it gives us a place in District 7 to just be, right? It's our third space. And so come out and join us. Want to thank Darin for spending an hour with us this morning talking about it. We will obviously post the recording of this on our website. So if folks missed anything or want to go back and look at any of the pictures, you can do that. So again, round of applause for Darin. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. We're going to let Darin jump off because he is a very busy person. We have 7 minutes left. If anybody wants to stay on and have any other conversation with me, just raise your hand if you have any questions or comments for me. But again, thank you, Darin.
Thank you very much. I will try to figure out how to stop sharing the screen here.
Technology is our friend.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Hope to see you all tonight.
All righty. All right, Alex. And then Sean, we'll go ahead and stop recording. And you know what? I didn't get